In this first painting workshop, I took them through watercolor foundations because at my retreats, everyone is invited to come as they are and everyone arrives with different skill levels. So whether you're a beginner or more experienced artist, it's always a good idea to warm up by going back to the basics. I had them all go through practical exercises like understanding colors and color mixes, how to use different paint consistencies, landscape techniques like controlled wet in wet, creating harmonious washes, dry brushing technique for adding texture, and using the brush more effectively by creating expressive brush strokes. I love that in an in-person setting like this, I'm able to observe my students and their watercolor practice in full close-up detail. This allows me to give them hyper-specific critiques and improvements, just tiny little things that just make the biggest difference. For example, I discovered that 2 of my students were holding their brushes wrong and their washes were affected because of that. Someone else was not making big enough puddles of paint on their palette, which means no juicy washes, because of which her paintings would always appear dry and blotchy even after watching all the watercolor tutorials. Yet another person was using acrylic brushes for watercolors and they were facing the frustrations of that. If you know, you know. So once she painted with my professional brushes, she just was, oh my god, she just lit up from inside and she saw how easy watercolors could be. So with these minor improvements, they saw enormous progress in how they paint with watercolors, and that made me so happy. This is the kind of intimate support and empowerment I can only offer in in-person settings, and this is why I love hosting retreats.